guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I thought though that this would be a good opportunity to reintroduce myself for anybody that is new to my channel and did not watch my very random, I'm just going to record this so that I can get started because otherwise I'm not going to get started video that I posted as my very first introduction, whatever, or people that have not seen my booktube newbie tag video. So my name is Tracy. I started this channel back in March. Things are a lot different than they were back then. I was a full-time teacher, so things kind of took a little while to take off. Now I am a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to be homeschooling my kids this year. I am watching my best friend's baby during the day, so all of that does keep me a little bit busy, but I am hoping that I find my groove and things do start working a little bit easier at some point. That is enough about me. Let's get into the book tag questions. So the first question is, how has your reading gone so far in 2025? And I have to say good, but I think it could have been better. I did not count books that I've read so far in July. I did keep all of my stats and books that I'm looking at from January through the end of June. And from January through the end of June, I read 36 books, which came out to 16,754 pages. And my average rating was a 4.31. So I am enjoying the books that I'm reading. I just, if I'm going to hit my goal of 100 books by the end of the year, I definitely did not read enough books in the first half of the year. So my reading has gone good, but it could have definitely gone better, I think. And so I'm hoping that the second half of the year, I'll have more time to read and to hit that goal. The next question is, what is the best book that you have read so far? I'm gonna have to say When in Truth, which is a hot take. Stormlight fans did not like this one. This has the lowest average rating of the entire Stormlight archive, and I get that. I get the issues that people had with it. I get the concerns with this one, but this was not an ending. This was a ending for now. The Stormlight Archive is going to be a 10-book series. Books 1 through 5 are one arc, and then books 6 through 10 are another arc. So this was the end of the arc, not the end of the series. So this definitely did not have a cohesive ending. There were no things that got resolved. There were just more issues, or the things that did get resolved turned into different problems. The mental health aspect of all of it was a lot more heavy-handed in this book. I do understand that some people did not like that. However, I do think that for a certain character, that has been his character arc. He has gone from needing to be in therapy to helping other people get through the things that they need to get through. And the fact that it has like the word therapist in here, I think that people have to remember that you have a world hopper who is a pretty important character in here. And so this like fantasy world is not as isolated and, not able to have these like modern things as you would think. And at the end of this one, they have become aware that they are part of the larger Cosmere. So hopefully that wasn't too big of a spoiler, but I thought this was the best book that I read so far. I went through this one in about a week, and as you can tell, like Stormlight Archive books are behemoths, and this was 1,330 pages that I went through in about a week, and that was at the height of being busy at school and testing season and things like that. So I would have to say that this was the best book that I read for me. I loved it. I thought that it continued the story and it left you at a pause point where I can't wait for the next book to come out, and I'm a little bit upset that it's going to be so long before this book comes out. Luckily enough, I'm also interested in the things that Brandon Sanderson is going to be writing in between finishing this and starting the next arc. But definitely I have to find out what is going to happen with these characters, because it really did just leave off on a, you know, everybody is all spread out in different places, and in some cases stranded in different places, and just it was a crazy time. The next prompt is, what is the best sequel that you have read so far this year? And my first answer was a hot take, and this one is also going to be a hot take, because I'm going to have to say the best sequel that I read this year is Onyx Storm. And again, this is probably a hot take because people did not like this one as much as the other two in the series. And if I was including rereads, I probably would have said Iron Flame instead of Onyx Storm. But I don't know. I enjoyed this one. I really did. I don't know if it was that the writing was confusing. I didn't find myself confused during this one personally, so I'm not really sure what was confusing for other people, unless it was like some of the characters. But I mean, like, she's killing off characters all the time, so I mean, obviously we're gonna have to have characters that you haven't heard of yet that are supporting characters. Also, the experience of reading this one, me, my mom, and my sister are all reading this series, and so being able to experience it together, being able to talk theories together, all of that, it really does bring me back to when I was a teenager and the Harry Potter books were coming out, and we were going to midnight release parties and staying up and talking about our theories of what's going to happen and things like that. So for the experience, all of that combined, I definitely have to say that Onyx Storm was my favorite sequel that I read so far this year. The next prompt is a new release that you haven't got to yet, but you want to read, and I have a few of those. Is this too many? This might be too many. I don't know. But these are ones that are new releases that I am definitely going to try to get to. So I have The Devils, I have Bare Bones in the Midnight Soil, Silver Elite, The Night and the Moth, and The Robin on the Oak Throne. So all of these I want to read for different reasons. I mean, this one is a sequel to a book I read earlier in the year that I really enjoyed, and I just want to get back to that one. This one I've just heard good things about and I want to see for myself. This one has such mixed reviews that I want to see for myself. And both of these two have been pretty well received, and I'm intrigued by them, so I want to read those for that reason. But definitely have a little bit of a stack here of new releases that I definitely want to get to. The next question is, what are your most anticipated releases for the second half of the year? And I have a few of those as well. So first of all, Isles of the Emberdark, I should be getting at any time. They started to mail these off in July. I know I have access to the ebook and I have access to the audiobook, but I just want to have the book in my hands. So I am waiting until I get it to read it physically. Also, the next Dan Brown novel is coming out in September, and it is the Book of Secrets, The Secret of Secrets. It's something about secrets. I can't even remember now. Also, I am excited about Brimstone, the sequel to Quicksilver. That is coming out later this year. And so those are the three off the top of my head that I can remember. Like, I definitely want to read those. The next question is, what is your biggest surprise of 2025? And I'm gonna have to say that was Dungeon Crawler Carl. The way that I saw this picture floating around booktube and thought that this was going to be ridiculous and not for me is quite frankly embarrassing, because this is now one of my favorite series. I am currently halfway through book 7, and I find myself simultaneously wanting to devour the rest of the book, but also not pick it up and stop reading because it's going to be so long before book 8 comes out, and I'm not going to know what to do with myself when I don't have another Dungeon Crawler Carl book to get out. Honestly, I am ready to start on book 1 again as we speak and just read the whole thing again. And after I finish book 7, I'm probably gonna do that. But yeah, this has definitely been my biggest surprise of the year, is how much I am absolutely in love with this series. And I know it's not gonna be for everybody, but I still think you should give it a try. So here is my suggestion while we're on the topic. I actually only gave Dungeon Crawler Carl like a 4.5. It just wasn't quite a 5 for me, and I still wasn't 100% sure about it, because this one, it has a lot of like the video game stuff you see in lit RPG, where it's like talking about their constitution and their intelligence and their health level and all of these things, and it's talking about leveling up and stuff like that. And at times that kind of went over my head just a little bit, and I would be like, my attention would be wandering. But the story itself of Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, going into the dungeon and trying to survive, and the friends that they make along the way, and the fact that they like get themselves so embroiled into the inner workings of the dungeon and all of the stuff that's going on. The storyline, the plot is what keeps me coming back. So if you start book 1 and you're still like, I don't know if this is for me, the whole video game thing is kind of throwing me off, I suggest you at least make it through book 2 before you decide, because as you go on, you stop. It's like you still hear it, you still see it, you know. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to say that. I don't know what level Carl and Donut are currently in where I'm reading, because it's kind of faded into the background. The important thing is the story of what's going on, what's happening to them in the dungeon, and are they going to make it? Are they not? Which of their friends is going to survive? Which of their friends is not going to survive? Like, they are in a fight to the death, pretty much. And it's a good time, but also, like, there have been side characters in here that did not make it, and I was sobbing. Like, I was legitimately crying over these characters. And more about that in just a second when I answer the next question. So let me go put these back. So the next question is, who is a new or new to you favorite author? And I'm gonna say Matt Denneman. And like I was saying, there is something about the way Matt Denneman writes his characters that, like, I am totally 100% invested in these made up imaginary people, and some of them are not even main characters. Like, some of my favorite characters are the, like, side characters. Carl and Donut, of course, are kind of like your two main characters, and I love both of them too. But then you have, like, Samantha, who, technically speaking, I think is like a god thing that's like possessing a severed sex doll head. But I mean, yeah, you have this like plastic head that's like following them around and like rolling or bouncing around on the ground, and it's hilarious. She gets trapped under like logs and stuff, and they have to go find her, and it's hilarious. I'm gonna keep reading some more Matt Denneman once I am finished with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Now, will I like it? I don't know. I didn't think I would like lit RPG to begin with, so I'm gonna keep reading some of his stuff and see if I like it. From the way he's written this series, I can't help but think that I'm gonna love that too. So we'll see. I guess we'll find out together, because I'll probably post about it. Next up is your biggest disappointment. So I'm not gonna put like the books I liked the least, or the books that I hated, because a disappointment to me is like you had high expectations for it and then it let you down. Going with that thought process, I'm gonna have to say A River of Golden Bones, because for two reasons. Okay, so the first reason is, this is the blurb on the back. If you were Sleeping Beauty's twin, lusting over your sister's big bad wolf fiance, forced on a journey in Howl's Moving Castle in order to kill the wicked witch, would you be brave enough to figure out what kind of hero you are? So if you tell me that this is gonna be like Sleeping Beauty and then also have Howl's Moving Castle vibes, I've got high expectations for this, and it just did not deliver. This was a 2-star read for me. The second reason why is this entire thing was like the author wanted to write a story about a girl who didn't necessarily want to be a girl, but she didn't necessarily want to be a man either, which again is totally fine, but it's just not a story I was looking to read. I was looking for a Sleeping Beauty and Howl's Moving Castle vibe, and it did not give that at all. It was just about a girl finding her identity and what she wanted to be, which again is fine, but it was a disappointment for me because it was not what I thought it was going to be. So, okay, the next prompt is your newest fictional crush, and I don't know. It's a toss-up between Kingfisher and Bjorn, and for different reasons. Okay, so Kingfisher is an A1 asshole to her at first, but he has his reasons. And I mean, of course, there's this. Yeah. This one, Bjorn is totally 100% head over heels in love with Freya. And the banter between the two of them, the tension between the two of them was just, they kept that banter up right through to the end of the duology, and I really enjoyed that. And he would do anything for her. He would do anything to protect her. My two newest fictional crushes, which will probably be replaced as soon as I read another one with a great male main character. Okay, a book that made you cry. So I cry very easily at books and movies and TV shows and songs, commercials on TV, like, you get it, okay? So let me see. So starting from the beginning, The Sunlit Man, yes, I cried. When in Truth, I definitely cried. All three of the Empyrean series books, Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, I think that I cried. Dungeon Crawler Carl, starting at book 3, I think, and going forward, I think I cried at least once in every single book. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, I cried. That was a recent one. Definitely cried during this one. This was a sad book. A very sad book. I gave Song to Drown Rivers 4 stars. And the only reason that I gave it 4 stars was because I kind of just wanted more. I wanted more detail. I wanted more information about what she did. So she was sent to seduce a king to get his trust so that she could sabotage him and let the soldiers and things from her kingdom infiltrate and take him down because he had defeated her country in war. Anyways, I kind of wanted more of that. Like, how did she do that? What was that like? But it was sad. She, in a way, got a happy ending, but also in a way she did not get a happy ending. And she did this thing for her country for what she thought was the better good. and a little bit for vengeance, yes, but in the end, she did not get thanks for that. She got, you know, not a happy ending. So that's all I can think of in this moment that I know for a fact I cried for. A book that made you happy. Now, this one is pretty easy for me to answer. I'm gonna have to say The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. I read this one in my magical readathon, and it's a book that I kind of squeezed in at the end once I had finished all of my prompts, and I just had like 2 days left in the month, I think. And I picked it up and I read it, and this book was so good. It was cute, it was cozy, it was funny, and in that vlog, I said that this reminded me of something like Romancing the Stone, where you have kind of like the banter of Evie and O'Connell from The Mummy, but then you have like the search for something and the like dangerous yet sometimes humorous situations like you have in Indiana Jones. And I think together you put that with a little bit of a rom-com twist and you get Romancing the Stone. I loved this, and I have a very fun, I hope it's going to be fun, vlog planned around this book because I want more books like this. So hopefully that will be coming soon. And next up is books that you want to read by the end of the year. So it's probably a little bit ambitious to say all of them that I haven't already read, but just looking around at my shelves, definitely The Devils, well, the books that I just told you. Okay, I won't go through those. So those books, all of my book of the month books that I've got and haven't read yet. I need to finish Goldfinch, but before I read Goldfinch, I do think I'm going to do a reread. I read these books the year before last, I think, and I did not reread before I read Gold, and it took me a little bit to remember who was who and what all they had been through and everything, and I definitely think I probably should have done a reread before I read that one, so I am going to do a reread before I read Goldfinch. But also in my reading journal setup video, I did a 25 in 25 bingo, and I also kind of combined that with a read the books that have been on your shelf forever and you haven't read. So that list of books is here. I actually think I'm going to vlog about that. Like, currently I'm 3 away from getting a bingo a couple of different ways. So I thought that I would just pick 3 books off of that list and read them and see if I get a bingo at the end. And then if I do, I'll show you me getting my Dutch Bros to celebrate. And if I don't, then there will be another video of however many I need to complete a bingo, and we'll just keep that going until I finish those books. So I'm interested to hear from you guys. What are some new releases that you haven't got to, or some anticipated reads that you want to get to by the end of the year? What are some of your new favorites? What are some books that you read that you hated? I would love for you to let me know down in the comments. Who knows, maybe I'll get some more ideas for books that I want to read by the end of the year. That is it for now. I will see you again soon. Bye.